Today, I'd like to discuss the Nephilim. I've talked to a number of people who are similar to myself that have special abilities but are judged by them. Doesn't matter if it's psychokinesis, reading thoughts, reading minds, making things move, whatever. We all have powers, gifts. In the past we were, how should I put this, condemned by the church for them. But today we live in a world where it doesn't matter if we can do these things. I mean, sure, we're still called names like freak, monster, sons of the devil, whatever. However, lately I have been approached and discussed with certain people on certain feelings. One of which happens to be the Nephilim. They're not demons, they're not angels, they're not humans, but there's something like a crossbreed. So basically I thought I'd take the time to make a video on the distinction of what a Nephilim is, because I've been asked about it quite a few times lately. If you go to the Bible and you look underneath Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 and Numbers 13 verse 33, if you go to the NET, the ASV, or the WEB, in the King James Version, for me I have the Teacher's Reference Edition within that, so you'll see what I mean. Some of these books, the wording is alike, while others are different. But the NET states, the Nephilim were on the earth as these days, and also after this, when the sons of God were having sexual relations with the daughters of humankind, who gave birth to their children. They were the mighty heroes of old, the famous men. Okay, now let's take a look at the ASV version of that. The Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after this, when the sons of God were having sexual relations with the daughters of humankind who gave birth to their children. They were the mighty heroes of old, the famous men. Okay? Now if we go to the King James Version, in the WEB version of the Bible, we see that it states, the Nephilim were in the earth in those days, and also after that, when God's sons came to man's daughters, they bore children to them. The same were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. Wow. Interesting, isn't it? But now let's look at the differences between Numbers 13:33. We even saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak came from the Nephilim, and we seemed like grasshoppers both to ourselves and to them. That was the NET version of it. Now, the ASV version of that scripture is, we even saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak came from the Nephilim, and we seemed like grasshoppers both to ourselves and to them. The WEB and King James versions states, there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who came of the Nephilim, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. Now, here's a couple definitions of a Nephilim. First of all, let's go to the Satanic Bible, where Anton Zandalavey's version of what a Nephilim is. He referred to it as a scattered megatribe, which is, if you look within these pages and see yourself, if you find its principles to be those you've lived by as long as you can remember, if you feel the evocation of an overwhelming sense of homecoming, then you will have discovered that you are part of a scattered megatribe. The proper name for what you are is Satanist. I find that interesting because right there you have a number of different point of views on it. You have about 4 definitions of a Nephilim within the Christian Bible. That was just the Satanic Bible. Now let's look at it from an angel's point of view. Okay? Let's say angels A to Z okay? The Nephilim, the biblical term Nephilim, which in Hebrew means the fallen ones, or those who fell, refers to offspring of the sons of God, traditionally interpreted as angels. The mortal women mentioned in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 through 4, a fuller account of is preserved in the apocalyptical book of Enoch, which recounts how a group of angels left heaven to mate with women and taught humanity the heinous skills as the art of war. The chief distinguishing characteristic of the Nephilim was their gigantic size. These giants mentioned in numbers a number of times in both the scriptures and the non-canonical books. There is a particularly vivid image in the book of Numbers at a point where the wandering Israelites came upon a land occupied by giants. The Hebrew scouts give the following report. All the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the Nephilim, the sons of Anak, who came from the Nephilim. And we seemed to ourselves like grasshoppers, and so we seemed to them, which is Numbers 13:33. And it goes on from there to give other accounts, other groups of exceptionally tall people who appear to have been descendants of the Nephilim, such as the Anakim and the Rephaim, are mentioned in the books of Deuteronomy, chapters 2:11, 2:20, 3:11, and 3:13, and Joshua, chapter 12, verse 4, 13, verse 12, 15:8, 17:15, and 18:16. It goes on to a number of different other things as well. However, now let's look at a different point of view. Gustav Davison, in a dictionary of angels, including the fallen angels, put it basically like this: Nephilim, or Nephilim, Nephilim, instead of Nephelin. In Hebrew lore, the Nephilim stood for giants of primeval times, also a fallen angels, or their offspring, the sons of God, who cohabitated with the daughters of men, as in Genesis 6. Closely related were the Emim, terrors, or Rephaim, weakeners, the Gibberim, giants, the Zumim, achievers, etc. The Legends of Jews, Numbers 13:33, head of the Nephilim was Hillel. According to the 9th century writer Hyson, high, the Nephilim were the builders of the Tower of Babel. Now, right there you have several different point of views on what a Nephilim is. Now, the classification of a Nephilim is a half angel, half human. So if we look at this, the Bible scriptures deal with it. Different books deal with it. I also have the Book of Enoch, which deals with this as well. And it has a different set of writing just like all this. So I hope this has been an inspirational and an intellectual video for you. And I hope it answers a lot of the questions that have been asked to me lately about how somebody feels, how they're not quite human but not demonic or angelic or whatever. This is just the classification of it. As usual, I will make myself available to the public, and feel free to like or dislike this, leave comments, ask questions, whatever. I'm here for the public, so with that said, hail Satan, have a good day, and have fun.